Consider Cannabis is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnoses, or treatment recommendations. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition.
Days were debilitating, but because of this plant, I'm able to move through the pain and to know the triggers that cause the pain.
It's time to consider cannabis. I'm your host, Curtis. It's been a little while since our last episode, and we're returning today with a familiar voice. We're doing our first update episode with Rhonda Agard from episode 11. You may remember where she shared how she was able to regain control over her life after replacing her massive opioid regimen with non-toxic cannabis. But before we join Rhonda, I just want to acknowledge the break that we are coming out of for this show. It's been a break that's been very good for me to take, and I've needed every moment of it. So as we approach this crazy busy holiday season, I'd just like to encourage all of you to remember to take some time for yourself to rest. But that's all for me right now. Let's join Rhonda and we'll consider cannabis together. Rhonda, thank you so much for coming back on. How have things been?
I am doing fabulous.
Yeah?
Life is good, man.
It's been a little while, not quite a whole year, but a couple months. What's new?
I have a medical marijuana doctor.
Who's your doctor?
Her name is Michelle Pfeiffer in Wasion. Dr. Michelle Pfeiffer, young woman, very knowledgeable, does a lot of holistic medicine. But of course, like she said, there is a place for westernized medicine, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But she is all for going holistic.
That's good.
I gave her a jar of salve that I made. And I use 8 essential oils. All of them are anti-inflammatory, like turmeric, basil, cracked black pepper oil, tea tree, clove, deep blue, arnica oil. And I infuse it with coconut oil, shea butter, and beeswax. And I make all my own salves and all of my own medication.
Right now, I'm having a hard time, or our family's having a hard time with the cost of everything. My doctor, I just got a new doctor too. I decided to go with Tiara Rolland, who's local to Mason, and she's been on the show. So I already kind of had a little bit of a relationship established with her. And she really wants me to start with something that will last longer, like an edible or an oil or maybe a patch, and then so I can vape less and go through less flour on a regular basis. And
the thing is, if you do not make it yourself,
mm-hmm.
you cannot afford it.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part, because there's so many people out there like us that really benefit from cannabis, but the normal person, the average person, cannot afford it.
Yeah, that's been my biggest problem. This medicine is working so great for me, but it's causing me stress because of the cost, and it's frustrating.
That's when you rely on your friends. And I have said this before, patients need to help other patients.
But they're not really allowed to right now, right? I mean,
no.
They want to track all that stuff.
Well,
I mean, is that not true?
They don't know. You know, if they don't ask, you don't tell. And I give back because this amazing little plant has given me back my life. So when I make tinctures and I make salves, if I know someone who cannot afford it, I send it to them. Have it. It's medicine. Everybody deserves it.
Yeah.
And even with CBD, I do patients helping patients because that's the way it's supposed to be.
I just have I guess a little bit of paranoia that I'm going to give it to the wrong person and then I'm going to get charged with selling it because, I mean, all they have to do is say I got money for it. That'd be all they have to do. And then, you know, my family doesn't get to have me around to support them anymore.
Right. I live in part of the Toledo area that is no time, no fine. And if they want to come and get my plants, have at it. Because if I was to go to jail, oh my God, I would have to be back on all those pharmaceuticals. I would be a detriment to their cost. And the sad part is people like me who never used cannabis and had the stigma to it, I had to overcome myself. And I preach it from the rooftops of this amazing little plant. And no one should have the right to deny us that when it was put on this earth as a healing medicine. And for many, many years, thousands of years, that's what they've used. But it's all about the money. It's all about big pharma. And they want lifetime customers. I was that lifetime customer for 14 years. Never again, never. My life is too good. Now I'm trying to build a relationship back with my youngest daughter. And I have a lot of obstacles to overcome because I might not see it the way she did, but that's her reality. And that's what she saw as a child. So I cannot discredit that.
Yeah.
If these doctors only knew what the damage that it does, not only to the person, but to the whole family. I mean, it trickles down so badly into the family. It affects everyone. So I am so grateful. I am so grateful that I am pharmaceutical free. I am so blessed every morning I get up because I can be a productive, functioning adult instead of laying in my bed and sleeping and drooling. And that's all my children ever saw. What a shame. And thank God both of my children have ended that cycle because they turned out to be amazing women, amazing mothers, better mother than I ever was, thank God. And I'm not ashamed of it anymore. I've learned to deal with it.
In our last episode, we didn't really cover what your career was before your accident.
I worked for a family physician, an old-time doc. It was just him and I. So, of course, all I knew was the pharmaceuticals. Reps would come in, we'd have lunch and cocktails and bonus checks, and that's what the day was about. Still, a lot of people that I know that are pharmaceutical reps won't even talk to me.
Oh, really? That world has completely shunned you now that you've gone holistic?
Oh, heck yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Do you still talk to the old doctor?
Unfortunately, he passed away. He was an older doctor, an old school doc.
Oh, okay.
And amazing doctor, honest, didn't pass you along, shuffle you along. But again, he knew nothing about cannabis, nor did I. All we did was write prescriptions.
Right. That's what you learn.
That's what you learn. That's why a lot of the doctors won't talk to me. That's why a lot of the pharmaceutical reps will walk the other way. Last year I was on the Harley, and Toledo is filled with potholes and assholes. And we hit a pothole, which jarred me. And I'm like, oh, I got to get off the bike. Thank God we were close to home. I had to go back to the neurosurgeon 2 days later, and I'm sitting, on the table, and he goes, how's your endocannabinoid system? I said, apparently not too good because I'm sitting here. And he said, I did start doing some research, Rhonda.
Oh, that's good.
So, slowly they're learning, they're starting to accept it, and they really should.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous to me the way it helps, the science behind it, and then just people's lack of desire to learn anything new, to admit we got a mistake maybe. And for that, I'm paying a price now, because insurance should pay for some of this medicine. It freaking should. It should. If it's really medicine, insurance should pay for it.
Right. Graciously, when I say this, my medical marijuana doctor became my family doctor.
Nice.
So when I go in to see her, she can bill my insurance.
Nice.
So the only thing that I pay every 3 months is $30, and that's for the drug tests because the insurance won't pay for that. But because I have all the qualifying conditions, that is how she is able to bill my insurance. So not only is she my medical marijuana doctor, but she's also my family doctor.
That's nice.
So they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad that Our insurance won't pay for cannabis, and they really should. They'd be saving tons of money. But it's all about the money. They do not care about medical patients.
No, they don't. Nobody cares about people. They just don't. They care about money. And that's one of the most frustrating things about, I mean, even planning to go to the Capitol. And I don't know, I just have a real pessimistic feel about it. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and say, you guys suck, but they're not going to care. They're going to be like, I don't care, buddy. Have fun with your drive home with your tattoos. That's all they're going to think.
It's sad. It is so sad. Because if you look at people like us who do not take the pharmaceuticals but are living productive, normal lives. And, I'll go back to my youngest daughter again. Her recollection of me is laying in bed, not being able to take them to softball or music lessons or dance lessons. I did, but don't remember it because I was so snowed under from the pharmaceuticals. So, in all honesty, I probably was an embarrassment to my children. Not anymore. Yeah. Not anymore.
And you said you've recently started mending that relationship back with your youngest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just got to be a great feeling to have that.
Amazing. I mean, my life is now so complete. I live a good, clean, healthy life. And it shows. I smile. I've got weight on me. I look good. I feel good. It shows in everything that I do. So, people can say what they want to say about this plant. All I can say is I am not saying it's a cure-all, but it worked for me. And if it won't cure you, it will give you a better quality of life. I have found all of that to be true. I have not found any side effects. I have a regimen, like, I'll smoke flower first. If that doesn't work, then I go to an edible. Mm-hmm. If the edibles don't work, then I go to the waxes and the oils. And if that all fails me, Rick Simpson does not. I can take that capsule, go to bed, wake up pain-free, no side effects. So the stigma on this, it just simply blows me away.
Last time we talked, you had yet to get your card. Have you made it to a dispensary?
A joke. Are you kidding me? Ohio had recalls on flippin' Tinkster because it was rancid. And that comes from our Ohio dispensaries. How sad is that? We cannot even trust the dispensary to get things right. And this 1/10 of an ounce allotment for the day, who are they to tell me what it takes to control my pain and my seizures and my headaches? Well, some days I don't need to consume. Other days I might be smoking an eighth, a tenth, a quarter of an ounce. It just depends on how much physical pain you are in. And no one should have that right to tell you how much you can consume in a day, like Ohio does. I go to the grocery store, and yes, I might medicate before I go in. And when I'm paying for groceries, I had one lady go, "Oh, do you smell that marijuana?" And I'm like, she goes, "I bet it's one of them young ones." I said, "Oh, well, what does a marijuana smoker look like?" She goes, "Them young ones." I said, "Oh, well, that smell happens to be coming from me." And she just looked at me and she goes, "Oh." I said, "Would you like to know about Ohio cannabis?" I said, "I will be happy to inform you." And if you look back at even pictures of me 5 years ago, 7 years ago, you'd be amazed. No smile. There's sparkles in my eyes. They weren't there 7 years ago, 5 years ago. There was nothing there. So when I go to the stores, I sport marijuana shirts, cannabis shirts, to get people to ask me. And I tell them, I will shout it and preach it from the rooftops.
You were doing a little side business of CBD when we last talked, just for a couple of patients. You weren't trying to make a big thing out of it. Are you still doing that?
Yes, sir.
I was curious because of all the craziness with CBD in Ohio.
The CBD, the governor, when he signed it, signed for the hemp. And when they did the medical marijuana, they looped the CBD into the cannabis. Well, it's now removed. you can sell it as long as it's 0.03. But then you got every Joe Blow and their brother out there selling CBD that is substandard. And if you really don't know who you are buying your products from, that's where we run into problems, because it's other people that give good people and the industry a bad name. You know, I always tell people, do your research. Education is the key. Do your research on who you are dealing with. Because you can go down to Video Connection or Family Video, and they're selling CBD. I looked at their CBD and I said, really? I mean, people, you got to do your research, because there's so many people out there jumping on this bandwagon because they know it works. They know that there is money to be made in this. And I will say this to the day that I can no longer say it. No one should profit from the sick, the poor, and the desperate. Well, guess what? I fall into all those categories. And that's why I make my own medicine. I know what's in it. I know what I'm doing with it. I know who made it, who grew it. Even with the CBDs that we sell at Holistically For Me, I did my research. I made sure that it was a good quality product, because as a patient, I am so passionate about it myself. I would not give anybody something that I would not consume myself. That's how picky I am. And still be able to give them a discount to where that they can afford it. And I don't have the overhead, you know, like a business. I do it out of our home. So pass that savings on. You know, and that's why I'm saying that other people in the industry should help other medical patients, because it works. I have gotten my life back in so many ways that people would never even think of. I have my own apartment. I pay my own bills. I've got a newer car, new to me, but used. Everything I pay for, I do myself. I don't have to rely on anybody but myself. And that is a good feeling.
Yeah.
I'm not shelling money out to pharmaceutical companies for copays.
How's your health doing? Is everything kind of settling down?
I still have pain daily. There's some days it's not too bad. There's other days where it becomes debilitating. But because of this plant, I'm able to deal with it. You know, I'm able to move through the pain and to know the triggers that cause the pain. And when you're on pharmaceuticals, you have no clue what is triggering that pain, because you're so numb.
Right.
Numb to your feelings. You're numb to your family. You're numb to yourself. So you get into a dark hole. And that dark hole is so hard to come out of. And it took me a long time to get out of that deep, dark hole. But I am so grateful I'm here. You know, I can enjoy my oldest daughter and her children. We've repaired a lot. And I couldn't be this far without my daughter and my adopted daughter, who showed me edibles, and she makes my edibles, and they're all made with Rick Simpson oil. I know they're clean. I know how many milligrams they are. I am very fortunate that I had a mentor when I started this. I call her my earth angel.
That's good to hear that you don't have any new spinal issues or...
Actually, they've gotten better.
That's good.
I have not had a migraine months. It's been so long, I can't even tell you. I have put off neurosurgery again, and I am going on 6 years strong.
That's awesome.
Of not having any neurosurgeries, no surgeries whatsoever.
Awesome.
So, oh yeah, every day that I'm able to consume cannabis and keep everything at bay, my life gets more amazing.
So you kind of scoffed at the idea of going to a dispensary. You haven't set foot in one?
Yes, I have.
You have. You have set foot in one.
It's a joke.
Which one did you go to?
Rise in Toledo.
Rise. Okay. I
They
haven't
suck.
been to anything north. Oh, really?
Oh, they all suck. I've been to a few of them. I refuse to buy their product because they don't even have it out. You get a piece of paper that tells you what you can buy. And I'm like, oh, heck no. I want to see it. I want to see what I'm buying. And how can they even comprehend 10 gummies for $120? Are you joking? When I can go into Michigan to their dispensary and buy a 100 milligram gummy bear for $5. So come on, Ohio. It's bad. I will stick to the black market because Ohio's program is so terrible and so many restrictions. And they're not helping us medical patients. Actually, they're doing more damage. Ohio is still stuck in the Stone Age when it comes to medical marijuana and their dispensaries. Come on, we haven't even been up and operating, but what, maybe 4 months with dispensaries, if that? And we already have 2 recalled, for product that was tainted, that was rancid. And this is where we're supposed to buy our medicine? Really? No, thank you. I will stick to the black market. So,
do you have anything else you'd like to say to our listeners today?
Just keep doing you. And when you finally get off of all the narcotics and the crap that they prescribe, believe me when I say this, I can't tell people enough of how when you go holistic, your life will change 380 degrees. And you'll be amazed at the things you can do and the joy that you get back into your life, your families, your children, your spouse. Everything becomes new again. And life can be amazing. Believe me, because you will have to take care of your mental health along with your physical health, and that goes along with your spirituality, because all those go hand in hand. And you really have to get the mental part in check, because unfortunately being on the pharmaceuticals will cause more pain because your receptors don't work right. So when they're not being fed all that nasty drug, they get angry. So then your pain increases. I have noticed with cannabis, the pain level goes down and stays down until I do something to trigger it, or the weather. But I'm able to live a productive life. Life is good. Life can be amazing. I have not had one drug overdose since I left the hospital.
That's good to hear.
The overdoses that I had weren't at my own hands. It was a mixture of the medications and the stupidity of some of the physicians thinking that they were God. I overdosed in ICU. Well, how in the hell can anybody overdose in ICU? Leave it to our doctors, they'll find a way. I always say, what's the difference between God and a doctor? Well, God doesn't think he's a doctor.
I love Rhonda, and I appreciate her heart for wanting to help patients, and I know many other people who have the same heart. Consider Cannabis's stance is always to obey your local laws and to keep yourself out of trouble. And Consider Cannabis in no way encourages anyone to break any laws. I don't think we need any more people being arrested for this plant.
If you would like to be a guest and share how cannabis has impacted your health and wellness, send an email to considercannabisnow@gmail.com. You can also reach us at our website, considercannabisnow.com, where you can find all our previous episodes, as well as links you can follow to our Instagram, Facebook page, and more. If you have found anything of value on this show, please share it with someone else. Remember to subscribe for free and get every new episode delivered right to your phone. Thank you for listening. Join us next time as we consider cannabis together.